I'm Olivia. I am a wildlife and travel photographer. My goal is to inspire people to give a shit.
I'm Pat. Spent 10 years in the Marine Corps. I have strong views on conservation and the U.S. Constitution.
We will discuss topics like yoga,
How to gut a deer and not fuck up your meat.
orgasmic meditation,
Full body orgasms.
life after divorce.
Life after death.
Why the fuck do we still use plastic bags?
Why can't everyone learn guitar in school?
What do you look for in the perfect photo?
What's in my food?
What's in my mouth?
We might also dabble in a little bit of motorcycles. That's right. She rides a Harley, bitches. While our upbringings drastically differed,
Our ability to communicate and be open-minded has allowed us to strengthen our relationship. So this podcast is here for you to broaden your horizons, possibly change your perspective on a topic. So we hope you enjoy listening to The Hunter and Hippie. Welcome to The Hunter and Hippie. My name is Olivia,
my name is Pat.
and we are here in a very different studio. We are sitting on a yacht in the Bahamas. We have pigs behind us on the beach. The rooster was crowing for I don't even know how many hours this morning. And everything about where we are is just beautiful. The water is crystal clear. The beaches are mostly clean. There's not a ton of litter everywhere. And we're just really grateful to be here. I'm with my sister, Alexa, my dad, Scott, and my mom, Sharon. And with all of us being here, I figured that we could discuss what we kind of all do best. Alexa's an artist. My dad's an artist. My mom is an interior designer. She remodels buildings and can see past the ugly that most people can't. We wanted to discuss creativity and whether it's inherited or it's developed through exposure. And welcome to the show, everyone.
Thanks
well-
for having us.
Wasn't there a listener that requested that we ask these questions?
Some of them. I mean, there were topics that I put on our social media for like a poll, and everyone pretty much wanted to hear about artistic ability and our family. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to talk about anything other than what we know best, I guess.
And I'm already noticing that I'm the closest to the camera and I'm the only one sitting up straight, so I'm going to be the biggest one.
You're the big sister.
I'm the big sister.
Always. So I wanted to first discuss creativity and how you guys during this trip, have you felt a sense of more like inspiration being here? Like what does this type of environment do for your creative abilities?
I guess I'll start. I don't think, honestly, much influences my creativity. It doesn't matter where I am. I think it's just in my blood and I can't shut it off. I do think it was just part of who I am when I came into this world. And I do wonder, though, if I didn't have the parents I did, what I would do. But it feels so natural to be an artist to me after so many years. There's plenty of lulls that can take away from it here and there in life. But at the end of the day, I'm always inspired, whether I'm in South Dakota or in the Bahamas. All it did was really change my color palette this week to blues and aquas and more sailboats.
Yeah, I actually want to touch on that, Alexa, because I've been painting, as you know, for like 50 years, and you've been painting for 15 about, right?
Almost 20.
Almost 20. And the difference between you and I on this trip is that you were ready to paint. As soon as we got here, you got on the beach, you got your paint out, you got your paper out. And I just want to relax. I didn't want to do anything that had to do with art. I'm inspired by this beauty here, yes. And the colors, you know, one of the newest watches that I designed was inspired by the Bahamas. It's called Bahama Blue. So I get inspired in different ways too. And I'm not known for doing this kind of scene, but I love the pieces that you did.
Can I help you there? Your watch was called Exuma.
Exuma Blue. What did I say?
Bahama Blue.
Like
Exuma
Bahama.
Blue. Well, that could be maybe the next line because those are almost sold out already.
And Mom, I know you always say I'm not an artist, but you are, because there are so many times throughout our life where you've seen a building or you've seen a space and you're like, oh, if you just blow out that and you add this and you do this and then you can have blah, blah, blah. That is a form of creativity.
So are her spreadsheets.
There you go. I will agree with that. I don't consider myself an artist, but maybe guilty by association. Surrounded by. I'm better at herding cats, I think. I my parents were both artistic. My dad was a painter. He was an engineer, so he was really smart. But, and then my mom wrote poetry and also did art. And gosh, she did sculpture. She did all kinds of things. So I was around it myself, but no, I've never considered myself to be artistic.
Well, the question was about creativity.
Same thing.
You don't feel creative when you're here in this beautiful scenery and don't have the responsibilities of home.
Creativity in, designing and even in cooking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't say we've had a bad meal since we've been on the boat.
I know.
That might also be why I like
And
it.
you used garlic, and I liked it.
I always use garlic.
No.
So Lex, when did you first notice, or actually Mom and Dad, when did you first notice that Alexa could have creative abilities?
Damn, I noticed, and I tell everybody this too, when she was little, if there was something in the middle of the table, there was a couple of dishes and a bottle of wine or something, she could easily recreate that accurately as far as the composition of what she was looking at. And I think she developed quicker than I did as a kid. And so I don't know, if you think about it, you're really third generation then artist, because you put your mom in there and your dad in there, and they were both painters and creators. And then, she's got it from me, and then you're basically a third generation in the art field.
But my parents didn't do it.
They didn't do it professionally.
No,
Yeah.
no. But my experience, and this is way back when, because I think she was either 4 or 5, and she did this sphere, this ring of alphabet, just started with A and went around and made this perfect circle. That blew my mind. And back in the day, I took that piece of paper and I laid it down on that fax machine from New Jersey, and I faxed it to my dad in California, and he too was blown away. So that he's like, oh my God, he was Australian, so one of them could do the accent.
Why didn't you
really good.
text it to him?
Yeah, that's how old she is.
Those were the days when you had to fax something to somebody, Or if you take a photo of your artwork nowadays, somebody could have a picture of a painting you finished in 5 seconds, where I used to go take a camera and I would take an entire roll of 24 photos of the same painting, take that roll of film, go to the 1 hour photo place and wait and get it developed. And then I would go and I would mail out each photo to people I thought might be interested in it. And now we get, everything is so instant. It's crazy.
Did we talk about that the other night?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Joe
No,
Coy.
but I wasn't there. But I was literally, when I went to bed, maybe that's why, maybe I heard it. And I was thinking about when you did that. I'm like, oh my gosh, remember that?
So
crazy.
Lex, when did you, obviously Mom and Dad just shared a little bit about when they noticed it with you. When did you feel like you had something? Did you ever, or did you kind of question it?
Honestly, I think we might have talked about this before. I have many times. I think I started out so different than many other artists because, I might have doodled my whole life and always loved drawing. And I still have my sketchbook from 6th grade with all of the little stickers and SpongeBob and that one puppy I drew. All of those pictures in there. But I started art as a job. And it was just, hey, I needed money. And my dad was an artist. So, okay, let me work for the family business. Block this in black, block this in green. And I had no inspiration in that. That wasn't anything I liked to do. I just needed to get my nails done and fill up my car with gas. So I needed a job. And then as the years went on, I worked for Dad for 8 years as his underpainter, just as a job, just clock in, clock out, 8:30 to 5. Painting plain shapes, basically blocking color by numbers was what an underpainter does. And then when I was 24 was when I like kind of quit, obviously still worked for you for many years here and there, I kind of had my own, it wasn't even then. I stopped working for him at 24, and then I did my own stuff, but it was still photorealism because that is the only thing he taught me, because that's the only thing he does. So I thought that my way of being an artist was, okay, I have to make this look real. And that went from age 24 till honestly like the last 2 years when I started working with Park West, and how I had to produce an insane amount of paintings for them that it challenged me to try something different and get looser and have more fun. And I think that's actually when I really realized I really enjoy this. If I don't do, okay, make this look real, no offense to his style, but that just doesn't connect with me anymore.
It doesn't fit your personality. You're not exactly the most OCD organized person. So I think your looser, more surrealistic art is definitely more you.
Yeah. But I think it was really the last couple years in my almost mid-30s now, after working for him, then going out on my own, and then going back, signing a contract with a gallery that pushed me to the limit, honestly. And I don't want to say anything negative about them, but being pushed that hard took away the inspiration and the love for it, because I felt like a machine. So then in the last 6 months of not being with them, I have completely fallen back in love with art. I have more time to create. I have more energy to create, more desire to create, because it is coming more from my soul instead of just like, oh my God, I have a deadline to fill.
I would say deadlines like that and pressure can squash creativity if you don't have the freedom to just feel and create when you're in the moment of feeling creative.
Yes.
I've gotten like that too, where at times, same with Alexa, you feel like a factory because you need more paintings. You just had a great sellout show, and now you have something already on your schedule. People are expecting to be there, and then you have to produce another 20 or 25 paintings in a short period of time. And I just don't paint like that, as you know. So there's a lot of shows of mine where there's 15 paintings, 18 paintings, because that's all there is available. And I don't like feeling like a factory, because you lose your creativity. It's just that you're just bringing out another image, just have another image with your name on the bottom.
It still comes from the soul. Like there's no way to ever hand paint something that is not personal. Like even if it is quicker than you would like to, and you finish it and you ship it out and you don't even have like an hour to enjoy it, it's just gone. You paint it, it's gone. And, oh my God. And then someone thankfully always connects with it, which makes it absolutely worth it. But yeah, in the last just 6 months of not being with them anymore, it's like I've cried in happiness, where I'm like, I can set a painting aside and come back to it a week later and work on it more, or add something different, or change it, or add texture and give it those 4 days to dry that it needs, and then add another layer. And yeah, I definitely like the looser, crazy texture graffiti style now.
How do your ideas come out? I mean, your ideas just from life, like the stuff that you're working on now, because you're all over the board. I mean, I do cars, I do motorcycles, I do wine, I do, flowers and people with masks and things like that. But you have way more types of imagery than I do. And where does that? I mean, I look at some of your pieces like, I didn't teach her that.
I'm like, where did that come
where
from?
did it come from? Yeah, where did that come from?
I have no idea. The mind never stops.
I know you're inspired by a lot of other artists that you either follow or look, and same with me. I'm inspired by images that I see, and not really any other artist. I try to be unique to myself. I don't really copy anybody. I tried never to do that in my career. I have a lot of people that copy me, whether it's subject matter or whatever, or even style, but I guess that's a compliment, like they said. So
if I'm stuck, I'll sit in like different rooms of my house and think like, what would mom have hanging in her master bathroom here? What would fit there? What would fit in mom and dad's dining room? What would fit in Olivia's gym? What would fit like just in different areas of the home, different people, different personalities, different colors, your mood always, heartbreak, happiness, motherhood, strength, all of those things. They inspire, all sorts of different art, and it never stops.
So Scott, when was the first time that you realized that you had a creative touch, or you had the creative ability to a photograph or an image of what you're currently seeing onto canvas and then turning it into art?
Well, when I started to get interested in art, it was when I was in high school, and I did a lot of doodles. Like, most artists, they're doing drawings of, hot rods, or I was doing like little caricatures back in the 70s, and then I did some more, like I did the sheepdog. Yeah, can I tell my sheepdog one? So when I met Sharon 43 years ago, I told her I was an artist. I painted and stuff like that. She goes, "Oh, I'd like to see something of yours." And the only painting that I had around
I said, show me your etchings.
was it's an old people thing. Show me your etchings. You bring your older audience will know what we're talking about. But so I bring out this painting, and it's this beautiful freaking waterfall. I mean, it's coming across the top of the mountain, and as it a little ways down, there's a rock jutting out, and the water's going around it. And so as it gets lower to the ground, it's getting wider. And so I showed it to her. She thought it was a sheepdog. She thought that rock was the nose, and it was just a sheepdog sitting there in front of this beautiful rock face. But as far as like turning a painting into like photorealism, I didn't really start doing that to really try to because I was a looser before that. I was doing all these celebrity portraits and things back in the late 80s, early 90s. But it was really Harley Davidson, when getting that contract in 93. I had done a couple of Harley paintings prior to that, and I realized I was really good at photorealism. And obviously Harley did too, because I got the license from them in 93. But I would say probably I started making that transition into more photorealism in the late 90s is when I started doing that.
Do you think that your childhood home praised creativity or like shut it down, Scott?
Having you guys around, creativity?
No, your upbringing. Do you think your
when you were a
upbringing
child.
influenced your creativity, or do you think like where did it come from? Like I guess, or just came out your ass.
Hopefully
I
not.
think, well, the inspiration, when I was 15, I got a job in an art gallery. And then there was an artist back then that I really liked. His name was Patrick Nagel, Nagel. He did a lot of, they called them kabuki style paintings. They were simple line drawings, women with white faces. He had illustrations in Playboy magazine all the time, every month. And then when he passed away, there was another gentleman named Dennis Mukai that did the same kind of thing. And I really liked those, so I started doing these portraits of people, of customers and things like that were in that style. And that really blew up for me. That was doing great. I came up with the name EscoTte, which is my first name, Scott, EscoTte, and I did a little accent at the end. And so I became EscoTte. And the reason I did that was because when I was working on that gallery, I had the opportunity a few years later to purchase the gallery. And I became the owner of it. And the reason I put EscoTte on those paintings is because I wanted people's honest opinions of my artwork. And so if they came in, if they saw my name and they knew I was the owner of the gallery, they'd probably say something nice. But if they saw EscoTte, maybe they'd be a little more honest. So I messed around with a lot of different types of imagery, the EscoTte style pieces, which were the Nagel-esque pieces. And then I started doing photorealism. And that's what people really liked. So I got the most positive comments on the photorealism. So that's why I went down that route.
I actually had a client of mine, a really wonderful, lovely collector of mine in 2017 when she was buying like her first commission from me, a 5x5 foot Andy Warhol themed Maryland painting. And she said, have you ever thought about changing your name and your signature and taking the Jacobs off of it? Because I just signed Alexa Jacobs. And I thought, but that's scary. What if people are only buying my art? Like our whole life, people have always written off my art because my dad. People only buy your art because of your dad. You're not really an artist. It's just because of your dad. All blah, 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 just completely bringing me down. And she recommended that. And that was my first thought. But wait, what if people really are only buying my art because it has the Jacobs name behind it? And I was scared, but I think it was 2017. I rebranded and I just started signing Lex because I wanted to find my own style, my own niche, and my own collectors that weren't purchasing it just because Jacob's name was on it. And that was also a huge shift, I think, in my creativity. I got more confidence doing that, and I felt more freedom, more room for freedom to explore different styles by just signing Lex, and people kept buying it, so it wasn't the Jacobs name.
You talk about how you took the Jacobs name off, and I mean, I went to art school. I was an underpainter for a while. Like I painted and did all that, and I just remember thinking like, I'm not part of the family. I don't like this. Like this is not enjoyable for me. Like I would paint a few things and I'd just be like, I could have fixed right there. Like too much of a perfectionist, and I know that that's like my own thing to tackle. But still, I'm like, not you. Oh, I want to sit on the beach and paint. No, I don't. I don't want to do that. So it took a while for me to just accept it and be like, I'm not going to be an artist. I'm just going to be the computer girl and do something with Apple and, or whatever. And then eventually when I grabbed the camera, I was like, wait, is this a form of art? Like, did I find my form? So, yeah, I think, you don't necessarily have to follow directly into the family path. You can follow alongside it in a similar realm. It's, creating something. It's creating a beautiful image with a camera, not a paintbrush.
And it's never a downfall if you have successful parents and you follow in their same footsteps. So to anyone telling you that, writing you off because of something your parents have done, it's just because they're not doing something that they want to do.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about it yesterday, how, there's lawyers who have kids and then they become lawyers and they become lawyers. I think it's generational. So I think that creativity is also not only, it could be genetic, but it's the amount of exposure that you have in your life. So I remember vividly, and still in New Jersey, so I was 5 or younger, or 6 or younger. I remember walking into your studio and just sitting on your high stool behind you and just watching you for hours. Probably not hours because I was a kid, but long enough to where I would just watch, and I was enthralled by it. I loved watching you create. And Alexa, same thing, like you sitting on the beach the other day and just doodling a beautiful scene, and Pat was just there, his jaws dropped, and he's like, she just did that in 5 minutes. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, so yeah, I think that it could be that we have it in our genes, but I also think that we were exposed to it for our entire lives.
And who was it that said creativity is a pursued interest? Was it Albert Einstein? Something like that. It's true. You're not like when people say, yeah, it's in your blood and you're born into it. Yeah, I've gotten a hell of a lot better since I was 8 years old drawing SpongeBob. So I practice every day for the last 20 years. I'm hopefully getting better.
Would you say, Alexa, since Dad looked at me weird because he didn't paint this whole trip, would you say that these beautiful environments spark creativity, or like what do they do for you in your career?
Honestly, what I think the part of creativity that is sparked is, like, I brought watercolors, so I wanted to use the water of the ocean as my water. I wanted to put the sand on the paper and create different textures with the actual environments that we were in, not just, sitting on the boat and painting a picture of a car. No, I wanted to paint what I'm looking at, with the colors I'm looking at, with the elements around me, like even using the conch shell as my water cup. And then I painted the conch shell with safe watercolor, and it was dead. But then I set it on that cool little bench on that random island. Like, who knows who might find it, but it's just, here's a little gift for whoever might see this rainbow colored conch shell and be like, what is that?
So did you do the painting with salt water then?
Yes. Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. And I used the conch shell for my water cup, which was my favorite thing.
So with your guys' creativity, what is like a key or an instrumental step that is overlooked for somebody who's not creative? Like me, I can't paint. I can probably get away with a pencil drawing, but I can't paint. What's a key step through creating an image that people overlook? Like how do you just look out at the ocean and you just start painting, and then there's a cloud with a heart, and then this perfect water, your ocean in front of you matches exactly what's on your paper color-wise. What steps are in there that are overlooked by somebody who's not creative, maybe wanting to get into the...
Well, the color was actually way off, but we don't have to go there. I think it's just doing it. You just have to do it. The fear of not will hold you back from a lot of stuff. Just go for it.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
As a non-artist whatsoever, not even a pencil drawing, I would think for somebody like me to sit there, it's daunting. I would be overthinking it, like you were kind of saying. Yeah, just I would not know where to start. I was telling Pat when he was blown away by your painting, when I sat in your studio with Levi when he was just a baby, and she's on the floor, this one, on the floor, painting a blank canvas, and she just starts slapping paint down with her fingers, and I'm just sitting there and I'm watching. I have no idea. I'm thinking she's painting the background. And then maybe a half an hour later, there's this gorgeous flower emerging. And I mean, it blew me away. Seriously, blew me away, because I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I mean, even the thought, okay, here's a pretty flower. Where do I start?
Well, that reminds me of Lex when we did those palette paintings, and you're like, you have to come back over and finish yours. I'm like, no, I don't want to.
You did good though where it started.
Yeah, where I started.
Yeah.
So, and that's like what you said is starting. And I think the difference between a successful artist and one that isn't is putting yourself out there. I remember putting my photography out there and being like, oh God, I'm doing it. And I did live photography too. So I cut out Jacobs because I just wanted to see what came of it. And, you know, that's the scariest step is putting yourself out there for others to judge it.
And I'd rather be judged for trying than judged for not doing anything. Your people are going to talk no matter what you do. So it might as well be talking about me being successful and an artist that's trying everything.
What would you say the scariest part of creativity is for you?
Scariest part of creativity. People stop buying my art and I don't know what to do with my life. But like Timothy Chalamet said in that ping pong movie, that hasn't even entered my mind. It's all I know. I've sold, honestly, I think more art and have found more collectors in the last 6 months of being out on my own again than I have ever, maybe. The positive feedback, the everything has just been humbling, to say the least.
One of the things, and I'm still not an artist, but that I notice even having the gallery is these two paint. It's not computer generated in any way. And I think that actually adds to the interest from people, because there still are many people out there, especially in my generation, that don't want something that's made from a computer.
Don't worry, I don't know how to use computers, so that's never going to happen.
Yeah,
nor does your father.
That's a good
So-
point. You can go to a county fair anywhere in the world and buy a AI generated tin for $10, and yeah, it'll look cool in your bar, but somebody will ask you, where'd you get that? Oh, I don't know, some county fair somewhere. Versus, I've got a knucklehead painted with a signature in the bottom corner, and they're like, whose signature is that? And it's like, oh, that's a Scott Jacobs print that's turned into a tin that's now hanging above our bar. That's pretty cool. And I like it because it's I think original forms of artwork versus anything AI. AI is cool to play with, and you can dive deep and have a lot of fun in a short amount of time. Like Danny was saying on our last podcast, you throw in a few notes of music and throw in some lyrics, and AI will spit out a song for you in 5 minutes, and it'll be a hit. But it's not real. It's not genuine. So I think from a creative aspect, I think it's pretty awesome when people can take a total blank canvas like you did on the beach, and the other one that the shark. I told you, just fix the head on the shark. What the hell are you doing tearing that apart? But, for somebody to take a complete blank slate of paper and then apply 10, 15 minutes of their creativity to it, and it turns into something that other people admire, want to have, would purchase, I think that speaks volumes, and it's pretty awesome.
That's why AI will never, like, people have asked me, are you worried, AI is going to take over, AI art, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't care less about AI art because I know I'm painting it with my hand from start to finish. AI can do whatever it wants to do, but you know that when you're buying something from me, it is blood, sweat, and tears put right into it.
And it's not about the value, or the retail value, I should say, because people think, oh, well, I don't have to spend as much money if I just buy it this way. But, you know, what was that one? What was that? Buy art from
the living artist, the
yeah,
dead
the
ones
dead
don't
ones
need it.
don't need it. That's hysterical.
Especially
not even
especially the
that.
robots. They don't need it.
Mhm.
I
They'll
think
never need it.
I think the AI generated anything, it lacks soul. It lacks life experience. And that is what you get when you get something from even me. Like with a photo, you know, there's like winter is coming. I photographed that with you and my mom. Like I saw the colors and I thought, Mom, this is mom's puddle. This is mom in a puddle, like her colors. Yeah, and I shot it and I edited it and cropped it and got it all ready for you. And then all these other middle-aged women were completely in love with it. So then it became an addition. But I was thinking of you. I was thinking of what you like and the color palettes and yeah, I don't think you get that when you have a robot going, all right, I need you to make the gem tones and do something that my mom would like. Like what I would wonder what would come of that.
So let's flip the scenario, not scenario, but flip the camera, if you will. So for you, for your photography, at what point did you realize like, okay, I actually have a skill set that I can apply towards a career? And was it encouraged?
And did you have any like imposter syndrome?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I think I had such imposter because I'm like, what am I doing thinking that I'm artistic when I can't paint? And then eventually I'm like, no, this is just a different medium. This is a different field of being creative. Like that was scary. That was the hardest thing to get out of my head is stop. Like I would just be like, stop fooling yourself. You know, just go stay on the computer. Stay on the computer and do the social media and the website stuff. You know, like shut up type of mindset. And then eventually, I don't know. I think it was photographing the horses and Bucket, and my grandpa was like freaking out over it. I just remember him, blowing up over the phone about how gorgeous it was. And then
No, you got to do his Aussie voice.
it's bloody beautiful. You have to release that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, it's gorgeous. Did you send it to your family? I'm like, yes, I did.
Told you.
Yeah. He sounded like that always, like always shouting when he's excited. And I put it in the gallery and I remember putting it up like, oh my God, like this is such a joke. And I think it was the first time that I saw a grown man be brought to tears by the image. He was standing there, he's looking at it, and he was like, this horse looks like my first horse. And then I told him about how the sorrels were slaughterhouse rescues. And to see them go from emaciated skin and bones and terrified to running through, 5 acres of beautiful field. And for my horse in the middle, Bolt, to be kicking up and being able to time that. And I explain it, when I tell somebody about it, I don't shoot and I don't rapid fire with the shutter. I don't just, hold it down and hope for the best. I like to time it. I think that is being more in the moment, more in tune with what's going on in front of you. So when I clicked that and I hit preview and I saw I got it, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Because, so that moment when I got everybody's external praises, I think that was when I was like, all right, I'm going to put this one out. And then it kind of helped me be more courageous and like put more things on the wall. And kind of just snowballed.
Was there pressure, like in your upbringing growing up where, Alexa's an underpainter, Scott's painting, and you're doing computer work and stuff like that? Were you intimidated or?
Well, I would underpaint, like, and do the color by numbers type stuff. And I have a steady hand. But yeah, I'd sit there and I'd be doing the lines and I'd just be thinking about something else. Like, oh, I could be doing so many other things. And when I stopped doing that and I convinced my dad that social media was important, I kind of started taking that on and the storytelling part of that. And that's when I kind of just dropped all creative anything. But then I went to art school, but I still specialized or went for a degree in media marketing. So marketing again.
But you're missing too that creativity is also writing. And you were always an amazing writer. I remember in school and you'd have a paper and I was like, this is perfect. There's
I
nothing to
don't.
change. Oh, well, I do.
I mean, you have a blog.
Yeah, I have a
Everybody reads
blog.
it.
Yeah, I have a blog. And yeah, I mean, there's different forms of creativity. You say you're not an artist. And again, like we just said, we pointed out food. That's a huge thing. But then, Pat, you don't think you're artistic. I think being creative is being able to read people,
Yeah.
being able to, see somebody's bullshit immediately and like literally be like, oh, I bet you they say this next, and they do. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, how do you know this? So I think there's always going to be different forms of creativity. I think it's acknowledging it, accepting it as something creative rather than just brushing it aside and being like, no, that doesn't count. Like, give yourself more credit. Everyone listening, I bet you are creative in some area or 5,
Well, it's like art. I remember being in LA with Marley, and this guy came up to me and was like, what do you do? And I was like, I'm an artist. And he goes, me too. I'm a DJ. What kind of art do you do? And I was like, art. Like, I think the original definition of it. But now thinking about it, dancing, cooking, music, everything is life. So many aspects of life everything is art.
What is the common denominator? Just being bold enough to try
think so.
something?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I'm listening to you say that, but trying to write an article, trying to take a picture, trying to cook a meal.
I think it's
you know,
taking nothing and creating something.
and not following. No, I don't want to say following the rules in a bad
Never
sense.
following the
No,
rules.
don't. No, you have to follow the
With
rules.
art, you don't follow the rules.
Well,
with
with
life,
creating.
you do.
With creating, following the rules and being able to, what do they say? I'm not going to say it, but throw the shit at the wall and see what sticks, kind of a thing, right?
Well, and you are musically talented, Pat.
Yeah. I mean, I from a young age, I guess 7th grade, I took a music class, and I just had a really easy ability to read music notes. So I could read the note, and then I would hear the note, and I would hear the teacher correct, hey, you're out of tune, go flatter, go sharper. And once I learned, okay, that's a C, I can hear it in music, and I can hear if somebody's guitar's out of tune from, across the room. I don't have to be up in it. But yeah, I mean, I've written a handful of songs on a guitar, never had lyrics to them. Started to write lyrics and tried to match chords with the lyrics, and it just sounded like a 3-chord typical pawn shop guitar, just your typical campfire
Basic
song.
bitch.
Yeah, basic bitch song. So I was like, all
I
right.
like beer and trucks.
Yeah, I was like, I'm done with that.
And dogs.
But I tried to, like, for me, whiskey, a lot of whiskey. I tried to incorporate life experience into what I was doing. And just at the time, I think it was all timing for me. So if I sat down with a guitar, and I do it sometimes when you're working, I'll just go down currently, you'll work upstairs at the carriage house. I'll go downstairs in the garage, and I'll just play guitar for an hour and a half.
Or you'll play behind me when I'm trying to write and you're singing. I'm like, shut up.
That's what I'm trying to distract
go downstairs.
That's where if I hopefully play loud enough, you're going to stop what you're doing and turn around.
Like, look at me. Love me.
I'm serenading you, bitch.
Yeah. This is your song. God.
So what can we say to anybody listening who feels that tug at doing something, expressing themselves creatively? What can we do to inspire them?
Do it.
Do it. Don't stop. When we moved from New Jersey to California, we moved to a very wealthy town. We didn't know. It was just a beautiful place to live. So we moved there, and I remember dropping you girls off at school, and all these women would come up to me, and they're like, oh, and what does your husband do? I'm like, oh, he's an artist. And they go, what does he do for a job? And I'm like, he's an artist. And then I realized that he wasn't an attorney and a brain surgeon and, whatever. And and it wasn't accepted. And that bothered me because he busted his ass getting to where we are and
You both
sacrificed a
have.
lot. Well, everybody has. I mean, you guys also, and your sacrifices. And you know, don't give up. Don't let somebody tell you that you can't be successful as an artist. You know,
That's what I was gonna
that's
say. I feel like
untrue.
so many people, especially painter, the like original definition of art is written off. Like even still people in my comments, oh, I wish I had a crafts room for my hobby. And I'm like, this is what I've done since I was 14 years old. This is quite literally all I know. It's not a hobby. I have put my heart and soul and lots of tears into this, into bringing my feelings onto a canvas for you to relate to. And yeah, when people have cried over my art, it makes me cry because I'm like, you're crying over a painting I did alone in my studio. And it's connecting and touching people all over the world. Like I have collectors in Greece, in Canada, and like it's insane. It's still, I pinch myself often that I can do it, but I think it is being vulnerable. And like I said before, people are going to judge you no matter what. And if they're judging you, who gives a shit? They have their flaws. No one's perfect.
Think of how many businesses are out there. What's the purse lady? Maybe I shouldn't say it. That she has these bejeweled purses, and there's a guitar. We bought Alexa a palette, an actual artist palette, and the gems on it are the like blobs of paint. And I mean, I'm sure that was a hobby or a craft that she started, and she's probably a billionaire now. I mean, the
Till
purses
someone
are
said, those
awesome.
are really good. You should do
You
those
should
for
put them
more
out there.
people."
Yeah, exactly.
Scott, what would you say since you're kind of like the king and you own a yacht? What would you say as an artist?
Captain and I were talking about that yesterday. He goes, don't you wonder what these people on these like yachts do? And I said, can you imagine them seeing ours? And it's like, oh, he's just an artist. Because it is. Starving artist is the term. You don't hear successful artist all the time. It's crazy.
And obviously, you have many other avenues. So, yeah, what would you say to anybody listening who just needs that little kick in the butt to continue doing what they love?
Well, like Mom said, you got to keep throwing shit against the wall, and sometimes it stick. And Frank Tatuli said that to me, I don't even know, 40-something years ago, 50 years ago. And it's very true. I mean, you got to follow your heart. I was inspired to be an artist just as well as Alexa, and you a photographer. And you just got to follow your dreams, and hopefully it works out. If not, maybe it's a hobby the rest of your life, but you're still doing it. There's very few artists in the world that can actually make a living, that could live the lifestyle that we've been so lucky to live. There's artists that are way more talented than me, that paint better than me, that have great ideas, but maybe they don't have the connections. They didn't follow the right route to get there because, as Lex and I, we probably hear more than anything, how does my daughter or how does my son, how do they get known? How do they get into galleries? You got to start by knocking on the door and start asking, hey, would you mind? I'm an artist. Would you mind hanging some of my stuff? See if you can sell it and work out a deal like that. You just got to keep after it. I mean, there's a lot of artists that throw in the towel too early. Same with singer and songwriters. I mean, we've been getting into the music business lately now with our songwriter series. And there's so many amazing singers, songwriters out there that will never make it. Maybe because they didn't make the right connection in Nashville, or this person or their uncle isn't a music producer and things like that. It is hard. There's so much competition in art nowadays and music nowadays. I don't even know. I mean, for you to ask Alexa and I, how does my son or my daughter get out there? One step at a time is all you can do. And hopefully it snowballs.
I was also going to say, people ask me, like, if I ever get creative blocks all the freaking time. And I think when you force it, that's when stuff doesn't work. That's when I can feel it in my studio. I'm not in the mood and I try to create something. It's just, no, don't force it. Go back out, read a magazine, look at the sky, go on a walk, wait for it to come. Because sadly, yeah, even commissions, even when you're working on something for someone else that's not inspiring you because it's what they want you to paint, yeah, that brings in the money, but even then you still can't force it. I notice my strokes are different, my colors are wrong, it's just not looking how I want. And if you give your client enough time, I've never missed a deadline, but you have to take a break. You do have to wait for it to come back, and it does. And don't be hard on yourself if it's not there. It might just be like a bad week. Give yourself grace.
It's like our version of writer's block. You do have to step away from it sometimes. And what Alexis say, if you try to push through that where you're not inspired or things aren't going right, that's when it's not an enjoyable thing. Because I always want to, people ask me all the time, what is your favorite piece that you've ever done, or what's your favorite painting? And to me, it's the one that's on the canvas right then. Because I've had great experiences with paintings in the past, and I've had bad experiences with paintings in the past, that you're just like, oh my God, I just got to spend another week or two on this, get this damn thing finished. Your client is waiting, and you're like, maybe it's an image that didn't inspire you in the first place, but you have to work through it. But you do have to step away from the things every once in a while. That's our writer's block.
And I guess for young people, like literally getting out there, we're blessed with social media. Post it. Again, I love the trolls. We know this. I thrive on interacting with these people, only sarcastically, of course. I never insult anyone personally. Like they try to do me, I just talk back in sarcasm, and the second they block me, I'm like, ha, I win. But putting it out there, letting people judge it, letting them see what you're doing. Some will love it, some will hate it. Again, who gives a shit? If you like it, you're happy with it, that's all that matters.
Well, like you're saying, this reminds me of something I've told myself since high school is people are going to judge you always, no matter, like you said this earlier, no matter what you do, they are going to judge you. So it could be for your shitty painting, could be for your dumb outfit. Like it doesn't matter. They're going to judge you. So just do you. And that has taken me a long time to get to that point. But once you get there, it's very peaceful.
I don't know if it was like being bullied in high school that like just I've been like that since I was like 15. I really don't give a shit what you think of me. Follow me through the parking lot making gagging noises. You're like a 16-year-old girl. I don't know why you're doing this to me, but have a good day.
I was going to say about creativity, and you were talking about my creativity. So pushing through things, is this kind of like me trying to do the sales tax reporting yesterday on the rough seas? I had to push through it and get it done.
I mean, kind of. There's
Yeah.
plenty of people who don't know how the hell or can't even fathom how to do that, how to do sales tax. They'd be like, nope, I'm going to pay somebody. And you're like, I'm just going to do it. It's going to take me 3 hours, but that's okay.
Oh.
But is there anything else? So for writer's block, there was one thing I thought of, like what Danny said in the last episode. He said there's sometimes where I don't want to do anything, but I just show up and I sit there with my guitar. And I shared when he said that, like there are days where I'm not feeling creative, but I know I haven't photographed something. So I go take my dog on a walk and I photograph him. And then it starts to snowball into I'm photographing something else. And I'm capturing then the beauty in what's all around me. So I think though you might have creative blocks, writer's block, painter's block, there are still like everything that you do is going to open something up creatively, something else up.
And it's different every time. Maybe sometimes just having that creative block, but sitting in front of my canvas for an hour and staring at it and then trying something, sometimes it will look like shit. Sometimes I'll be like, oh. And then you get an idea and you're like, okay. And it comes immediately or not. Like you never know.
Do you guys ever paint with your left hand?
Yes, I was going to say that actually. I do all the time, especially when I'm going looser or landscape because I have always said I hated landscape, but I've hated landscape photorealistic style. Doing it looser is more fun, but your hand wants to paint a pattern. No matter what, you try to do something different, but it naturally wants to do the same thing over and over. So I have grabbed it with my left hand. I've done where you like make your eyes blurry and try to do different things, flip the canvas upside down, paint the bushes upside down, paint them on the left side, like even taking my canvas upstairs in my backyard. Okay, I'm outside now. What am I going to see?
I was going to say I paint blurry all the time, but that's only when I take my reading glasses off.
I said you paint with your left hand, but you were forced to at some point.
Yeah. No, what was that? What year was that? now?
2016.
2016, after my motorcycle accident, I wasn't forced to paint lefty, but I couldn't imagine a life without painting. And the only arm that was working was my left. So I tried it, and it felt so alien to me to have a paintbrush or a pencil in my left hand, because I've never done that, before.
And he still made it photorealistic.
I don't think it was photorealistic. It was, I mean, I sold them both. Yeah, I actually bought the first one I did back because I figured that would be a pretty important piece in my history as an artist, the first lefty painting. And the client actually sold it back to me. She was a sweetheart.
So to close it, what did you guys do for us as kids, like as parents? What did you do for us to be comfortable expressing ourselves creatively?
They supported us every second of the way. And I am so thankful that I will never know parents that don't support me.
You're going to make me teary-eyed. You're trying to do that. No, we always, supported you guys, growing up with everything that you wanted to do. We always threw crayons and markers and pencils in front of you too. And I think, I think you've traveled all over the world. Our whole family has. And I think that's been inspirational to all of us in many, many ways. But, like I said, we put pencils in front of you and color markers and everything since you were little. And maybe that's what really spurred your artistic love, because you realized yourself that you were good at it from an early age.
No, I really just think it's that you guys have always supported us, no matter what, besides tattoos, but no matter what it was, sports or art or what. When I tried modeling briefly, us riding motorcycles cross country with you guys, the only thing that you did was you didn't want Liv to move to Europe for a couple months, but
I know, and I still am not happy about that.
You can go now. We might run out of gas on this thing. That's pretty far. I mean,
Yeah.
the closest, if we go that way, the closest place is Africa.
So, Pat, Lex, and me, this is a question to the three of us, the younger folk with the younger kids. What are we doing for our children that encourage creativity in whatever realm that may be?
I mean, with Haley, we and Hendrix, we just, like Scott just said, we just throw colored pencils and markers and blank paper, and they kind of just do their own thing for a minute, and then Hendrix will hand you a sheet of paper that looks like a dog just wagged his tail on it with paint, and the whole thing's all scribbles. And what'd he say? This is birthday cake. Don't eat birthday cake. Or
Well, the one that I like the best, he's like, this is slimy arms.
yeah.
And it was like greens and blues, but the color palette was pretty. There's a few that and on the back, I write the title. I'll be like, what is it? And so he tells me, and I write on the back, slimy.
And I think we've had this conversation, the three of us have. I don't know if we brought it up to you or not, but Haley will want to have a what'd she call it? An art off? Draw
paint competition.
Yeah, paint competition. Dad, it's paint competition. And she'll go up and go unicorn. And everybody in the room has to draw a unicorn. And then we vote who's his best.
I'm normally the judge, which I think is really cute. So it's him and Haley, and they're both painting like something that she says. And
Well-
I'll be like, okay, let's paint. I think I said unicorn. She goes, no. How about a strawberry?
Yeah. But we're allowing them the abilities to be creative, and allowing them the opportunity to do what they want to do, and support them and show that it's okay. And there's often times where Haley gets upset and she's like, it's not perfect, and we're like, so what? It's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect.
look at Picasso.
You're 7. I don't expect
One
you
of
to
the
have
things-
a perfect letter.
And one of the things that you all do, which is amazing, is you take them out in nature often, like going on adventures, which are hikes. But that's huge because you're exposing them to those sites. You guys were exposed to travel, Europe and museums and sculptures and beautiful things like that. But the world is a beautiful place, and your yards are beautiful. And, you can take them out and let them soak that in as well, without interfering with handing them a phone or an iPad, because I feel like that just zaps any natural creativity?
My kids have never even touched an iPad. Barely even look at my phone. We've seen the videos this week. Daisy, put your phone down. Anything Brandon
Yeah.
sends me. No more
Now.
pictures. What have I done with my kids? I think we know that I am a type B minus, maybe type C mom. That's just messy. And I have my art studio in my home. My kids have their clothes that are covered in paint. I don't really give a shit if they get paint on their clothes. I don't get mad if they get paint anywhere. Half of my house is covered in paint from me, though. So then having kids is just like having two little besties that create with me, and I let them paint with me when they want. Daisy, of course, paints her little masterpieces already, and she's like extremely particular. Levi, he'll doodle a little bit, but he doesn't have as much interest. I don't force it. I let him do whatever they want. He'll leave, he'll go in the playroom, and Daisy will stay painting with me for 4 hours. She has.
I think that's the key that you just said is you're not forcing it. Haley absolutely loves to draw and color. So for Christmas, like we went to Knothole and I bought like watercolor paper instead of just, a pack of regular paper that doesn't work that great. So
You
like
should bring her to my studio.
yeah, started like really getting her different things because I remember like your mom, our grandma, we would have craft days and I still remember them and they're a pivotal moment in my childhood. So giving Haley what she likes. Hendrix hasn't been that big on coloring lately, but he's always shown an interest in music.
Mhm.
So we got a keyboard from one of your friends. We have a drum set. We have a guitar. And I don't want to force him into anything. So obviously he's 4. So he's not going to be like, well, Mom, I don't feel that creative today. He might, one day, like last night when we were FaceTiming, he was coloring and that's great. But it's not forcing it. It's not like, you must be a ballerina because, you need to go to, college, full scholarship for that.
Yeah, people ask me, do you want your kids to be an artist? I'm like, I want them to be happy. That's all I want. If they paint, great. I would love to paint with them, but yeah, I can see Daisy pursuing it. She's been drawing her crazy, funny little faces for years now. And Levi,
Yeah.
he is only 3.
What I was getting at that we didn't bring, I don't know if we brought up to you guys, but we were talking about getting real nice frames and framing the kids' artwork and then just putting it up at the gallery one night and just to see what it does and see if,
Do like a kids art show.
Yeah, do like an art show for the kids and let the kids get all spruced up.
I wanted to do that. I saw that somewhere online. It was they did it for the kid's birthday. They changed their whole house into a museum for all their kids' art, and they had friends over and hors d'oeuvres, and they had like apple juice and peanut butter and jellies. Daisy has a whole collection already. She would probably be signed with P-Dub real quick.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we can share? Obviously, we are a creative family. I don't think it's a genetic thing personally. I think it's more being exposed to it, being fearless, being taught to practice and express ourselves creatively in whatever
pursued
form.
Interest. It is. You have to keep going. Like, I definitely did not paint. Like, if you told me to paint some like abstract eagle like I did the other day when I was 15, I would be in my head trying to paint it realistically like Dad. And it was really only in the last 4 years that I realized, wait, I can get looser. I do not need to make this look perfect. It's art. It's freedom. No one can tell you that's wrong. I meant to do it.
Art is subjective. It can evoke emotion in everyone who sees it. You don't need to speak the same language. You have eyeballs, and it can evoke a different emotion than the person right next to you.
That's what I love asking them when people would ask me, what does this painting mean to you? And I'd say, what does it mean to you? I know what I was thinking when I painted it, but I would love to hear what it triggers in your mind.
And then they tell you, and you're like, yep, that.
Yes, that is why I painted it.
Thank you guys for taking this little bit of time out of our vacation. It is our last day, and I'm really sad.
I think we should all go jump in the water now.
Yeah, we're going to go jump in the water since we're about to, lift the anchor and go back to the marina and say goodbye to this beautiful place. But we thank you guys for listening and continuing to support us. We hope that you enjoy this episode with my family.
Yeah, we're a year old now.
We're a year old. Yeah, we have not recorded every week, or else we'd be in the 50s in the episode numbers. But we record every other week. And if there is a topic that you guys would like us to discuss, or we have a little bit, we scratch the surface, you want a little more, please let us know, either through the comments on social media or the comments in the actual videos on YouTube or Spotify. Do want to apologize for the color. Obviously, this is not a lit studio and the horizon has been moving. So if you got motion sickness, you might have already shut the video off. But thank you for listening. And if you like the episode, please like it. Please share it. If you have anybody who has that creative talent and they're just afraid to put themselves out there, we hope that this episode inspires them. And
Like, subscribe, follow, and namaste.
I already said that.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Don't waste your time on me.
You're already
A voice inside my
dead.
head.
Goodbye.